Hello, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are, whatever it may be. Welcome back to Unsorted. It's been a few weeks since our last episode. We were planning on taking a little bit of a gap, not quite as long as a gap, but hey, it's better than almost 12 months, right? Which was what it was last time. So, we're getting better. Just a quick reminder for those of you who may be new here. This is a unfiltered and unsorted show. There will be bad language and crude jokes. If this is not for you, then navigate away. In other words, if you don't like it, you can fuck off. And joining me, as always, is my enigmatic co-host from across the pond, the Atlantic Ocean, as we sometimes like to call it, amongst intellectuals. It is... Wait, what's his... I've forgotten his name. Oh, it's Joe.
Do you really have to be that intellectual to know what the goddamn Atlantic Ocean is?
Well, apparently George W. Bush wanted to bomb it because he thought it was creeping up on America.
He wanted to bomb a lot of things.
How the devil are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Last time we talked, I was in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
That was an exhausting vacation, but I'm back. Better than ever, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, I'm doing good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm
Good.
coming off the tail end of having the flu, so I'm sorry if I sound a bit more nasally than usual, which is definitely saying something because
That is definitely...
I sound like I got a peg on my nose. But anyway,
yes.
obviously there is a bit of an elephant in the room. Or actually, no, he's left. We have actually parted ways with one of us, and I don't mean that they've died. Not yet, anyway, but
Might as well be. I mean,
I'm sure there's at least 90 minutes of oxygen left in that box I put them in. But, yeah, the Brickkeeper, aka Sam Jones, the former savior of the universe, is not here. We unfortunately had to fire him, and I don't want to get into a long, drawn out discussion about, what happened.
we said we weren't going to talk about it.
No, and I think for the audiences that you saw or you listened perhaps that I did 2 episodes as the head host. Joe did 2 episodes. Sam did 1 episode. We went off the air for 3 weeks. We come back and he's not here. So I think that kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. It kind of speaks for itself. But
Yeah. So we have actually been going through a lengthy and exhausting recruitment drive, and we stumbled upon this fella. I don't know if anyone out there knows who he is, but I think he's one of the biggest talents on YouTube at the moment. And if you're not already subscribed, go over and subscribe to his channel. Go and basically raid his store because he is, quite frankly, the dog's bollocks. And by the way, for my American listeners, viewers, bollocks is bad, dog's bollocks is good. Just so we're clear.
I got to get my notebook. Hold on.
He is the master of all time and space. Sometimes he's called Professor, but today he is Spacetime Brick Studio.
Woo!
Glad to be here. It was a rough recruiting process, and I'm glad I made it to the top. Never had a doubt.
It was about this 7th interview where I'm like, I think he's going to make it.
Yeah. It was the cheese round that really did it for me.
Yeah.
So, Spacetime, for those out there who may not know who you are, and if they don't, then I'm shame on them. But would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a independent, Lego designer. Mostly my work's been on Instagram lately. I haven't had the time to put a YouTube video together, but I've just been concentrating on building brickhead characters from many different franchises and just working on finally getting my instructions out there and hoping to move on to other projects that aren't just characters and more in the ships and buildings.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, you have done some incredible work, and I can totally relate in terms of been posting more on Instagram than YouTube. I think I've been doing that for about a year now, and I keep on meaning to get back in the YouTube game. But I seem to be averaging on one video every 2 months if I'm lucky, right?
Wait, wasn't YouTube your whole shtick?
Yeah, it
Okay.
really is. But it's so much easier doing a post on Instagram rather than having to do a video on YouTube. And
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't monetize Instagram, at least not that I've found a way yet. But
Yeah.
It's a way to advertise. That's pretty much what I've
yeah. Because I think we all three of us, are custom creators using the Lego medium.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily, all three of us have been advertising recently. At least I have recently, more on Instagram than any other platform.
Yeah. I so the specific community that I kind of cater to is really active on Facebook, and I just I need to get back onto Facebook a little more because I got a lot of hits on Instagram, but it doesn't translate to a lot of traffic on Skylab Bricks at Etsy. Everyone, nice shop at Skylab Bricks.
You
Yeah.
you gotta hit the boomers. That's where they're
Yeah,
at.
that's the problem.
Yeah, we talked about that before. About sometimes traffic in terms of social media doesn't always equate to the sales, but
Yeah.
it's a numbers game, I guess. The more people you reach, the more chance you have of getting that sale. So
Yeah.
anyway, before we properly get into today's topic, which I'm sure a lot of people are curious about, I have got a little bit of a game for us to play, because we like games, and this is Spacetime's first time joining us.
Right, so we have to be really nice to him.
Yes. and I am aware, Spacetime, please don't take any offense to this, but I am aware that you're perhaps not as crude as say Joe and I. You're not as crude as us. Is crude the right word? I don't know. Crass, maybe.
Crass.
Right.
Potty mouthed. So previously on our episode, we played Lego Smash or Pass.
Yes.
Which I've brought back, but I've changed it now to marry or politely reject.
Oh. No in between.
No in between.
No in between. So the rules of the game are as before. I'm going to show you some pictures of some new and upcoming Lego sets. I'll say, Joe, marry or politely reject. He'll give his answer. Spacetime, you give your answer. We'll move on. And then once we've gone through them all, we'll come back and give some more detailed thoughts. But right away, I just want your first instincts right out of the bottle. Sound good?
Good. Love it.
Okay.
Got
Fantastic. Okay, number 1. 21348 Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon's Tale. Joe, marry or politely reject?
How about a non-committal makeout? No. You know what? I'd date her lovingly and marry her. Yes, I think I'd do that one. Yeah.
Spacetime.
Politely reject.
Politely reject. Interesting.
Okay.
60439 Lego City Space Science Lab. Joe, marry or politely reject?
Marry, and I'd say mostly because my son would have a blast with that one. But me personally, actually, yeah, I'd marry it. Definitely. It looks fun.
Spacetime, marry or politely reject?
Politely reject.
Oh my.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spacetime.
Wow.
I would like to point out that dome looks like a boobie. It looks like a boobie.
If you get 2 of the set, you have boobies.
Multiples. Okay, anyway, sorry.
I mean, yeah, the dome pieces are nice.
Yeah, them dome pieces. Sorry.
76298 Spider-Man tries to hold door shut whilst taking a dump. Joe, marry or politely reject?
Politely reject.
Spacetime.
Politely reject as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing why.
10431 2 pork chops try to make your child vegan. Joe, marry or politely reject?
Reject politely.
Spacetime, marry or politely reject?
Probably politely reject.
For those of you just listening, it's what is that? Peppa Pig?
Yeah, Peppa Pig.
My only complaint is that her eyes are on two parts of her head instead of both being on one side of her head as she is in the cartoon.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, they should have given them 4 eyes so they would, no matter which direction they looked.
Okay, I'm going to move on. We can come back to this discussion because there is a lot to unpack with this set.
Okay.
76271, Batman, the animated series, Gotham City. Joe, marry or politely reject?
Can we play some Barry White in the background? Can't get enough of your love, babe. Yeah, I'd marry that.
No. Spacetime?
Marry with an all-inclusive luxury vacation in the Caribbean.
Wow. Okay, wow.
That's my
Right.
boy.
Let's head back then to the first one. So, 21348, Dungeons and Dragons, Red Dragon's Tale. Now, I believe you both said reject on this one?
No, I said I might.
Well, you might make out with it. That's right. Yeah.
I might make out with it. I might even marry it. I'm not really into fantasy, but my brother-in-law Tom, we played Dungeons and Dragons for a couple years. I had never done it before, and it was just I think I would build this just because of that. Otherwise, I'm not into the whole fantasy dungeons and.
Really? Because I heard that you and Emily have a special kind of dungeon.
Yeah, we do, but we don't talk about that.
Okay.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the pleasure dungeon. Anyway,
Spacetime.
Me personally, it's not for me, but I appreciate the beauty of the set, and I know it's going to make a lot of fans happy of D&D. But I did get a chance to see this set. It's already at my local Lego store.
Oh, okay.
We were just having it on display for a sneak peek for next week. And I wasn't aware that it was modularized. And I believe there's going to be downloaded material where you're going to have your own quest for this. So there's going to be is that what they call it? A quest for the Dungeon Master?
Yeah, or a
campaign or something?
Campaign.
Campaign, yeah.
And I think they're calling the campaign is the Red Dragon's Tale.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons outside of Stranger Things. I love, sort of like medieval castle and like the sort of medieval fantasy with dragons kind of stuff. That is what I like about this set. Less so the D&D stuff. And it's interesting that you mentioned about the digital content because I did think the price on this set was a little high. And I wonder if it's because you're paying for that digital content as well as the actual.
I think it's $360.
Yeah.
Ooh. In the US. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pricey, right?
That's a rough one.
And I've seen some influencers online like put it right next to the Lion Knight's Castle, and the volume does compare decently with it. So it's like $40 more gets you a Lion Knight's Castle. I actually, and with the online content we just discussed about, I kind of feel like it's decently priced.
Okay.
And,
yeah, if you're gonna get the use out of it, but if you're buying it just as a Lego set,
right,
then you're kind of.
And you know what's absolutely brilliant with the marketing on this set this year is there's going to be a huge interest in it on release day, and then later in the year, what was it, September? There's the leaked Dungeons and Dragons CMF series, and that's just going to pump that up in sales again right before the holidays. And I'm like,
is it though?
I think it will,
because I still feel like Dungeons and Dragons is still pretty niche.
Well, I mean, when I'm talking, I'm not going to say it's going to be a headliner in sales, but for that group, I think you're going to see 2 big bumps in the sales for this set.
Right. I can honestly see the CMF doing pretty poorly, though. To be honest with you,
I think it's only going to help it because, and the CMF series is going to just further add to that pull for people to build their own character.
Now, just for people who are listening, because I know, but will you explain what does CMF mean? Because in case someone doesn't know what CMF
a collectible minifigures series, like the blind packs. Yeah.
All right. I wonder if they blend well. Anyway,
don't. I'll have PTSD. So the next one, 60439, Lego City Space Science Lab.
Yeah. I would get that just for kicks and giggles. Again, I think my son, who is almost 7, is turning 7 this next month. I think he would enjoy this a lot. And one of our viewers here
Yes.
pointed out that's an astronaut in a wheelchair, which
Yes. And I
okay.
was going to say something about this because whilst I applaud their, them for being inclusive, an astronaut in a wheelchair is something that, kids in wheelchairs will look at and think, fast, brilliant, I can be an astronaut. Did they have to give him a wheelchair that looks more like a shopping cart?
And that
Or
was my major reason for passing, because
okay.
I'm like we're going to strange new worlds maybe, and probably something a little bit more all terrain or hover capability.
Yeah.
Do they not have the technology to be able to fix that kind of thing, or mech legs or whatever? But
Well, not even that. Just like you're more of like a high tech wheelchair,
okay,
Because
yeah.
I'm not being funny. I actually was in a wheelchair for a bit, and I think I mentioned before it was a serious eye opener. And let me tell you, even now we think, oh, the world is fairly wheelchair friendly. It is
Oh,
not. It
jeez.
is not.
Okay.
Because you'll look at a ramp and go, oh, that's wheelchair accessible. But yeah, getting to that ramp, you've got to go up a curb that is like almost a foot tall. All over these like paving slabs that higgledy piggledy across some potholes.
Uh,
Honestly, and the way people treat you when you're in a wheelchair is quite frankly disgusting. But anyway, that aside, I did think, well, if I had so much trouble in a wheelchair going through a city center,
yeah.
how is this guy in his little shopping cart gonna handle, an alien terrain?
And see, this is us as adults with our goddamn cynicism talking about this. Like a kid who is in a wheelchair will love this. Um, the other thing is like that joke. Escalators can't be broke; they can just become stairs. You don't have to put the guy in the wheelchair. He can be a normal minifig. You just don't put him in the wheelchair. I think it's a nice little
I
inclusion.
guess.
Uh, my cynical adult self goes, okay, but this is not for us.
Yeah.
I see
Right.
this looks like a fun set as far as like I like looking at some of these build techniques. I like looking at like, just generalized sci-fi space stuff.
And I'll do anything to get more of those triangular tiles into production, because those help so much.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
So, 76298, Spider-Man tries to hold door shut whilst taking a dump. I should say, for those who are listening, it is actually the Iron Spider-Man construction figure, which Lego, they're still trying to push these out on us. Even though I see them warming shelves for like almost a century after release.
So first of all, with me, I have a really high bar to jump over. What's the term I'm looking for? I don't like superhero stuff in the first place. In the second place, like this just doesn't excite me at all.
It's not
It's
a minifigure, Joe.
it's what is it? A macro figure? I don't know.
Construction, I think, is the
Okay,
word, isn't it? Is that what they
Yeah,
use? Yeah.
construction and construction. Yeah.
this just does.
Yeah.
There's no intersection of anything I like.
Who is asking for these sets? I gotta be honest, because
Again, this isn't for us. This might be for
but then who are they for? Because they're not selling.
okay.
They don't move that well, and that headpiece, just on that, they try to reuse it for like Wolverine, Captain America, and just put whatever on there, and it's
Yeah.
like, I don't think it even works for Spider-Man, let alone a more humanoid.
No,
Well, I mean, is this a
no.
whole lot of recycled what series was that? The Bionicle?
No, these are all modern
No.
pieces. They're just
Okay.
Yeah.
they just keep using that same piece for the head slash face, and it just doesn't really work.
So 10431, two pork chops try to make a child vegan. See Joe having a bit of a meltdown there.
I need
I'm kind of disappointed in the politicizing of sets recently.
Yeah. Again, for those who are listening, this is the Peppa Pig garden and treehouse.
Okay.
And to be honest, I don't know. Most people don't eat sunflowers. I do know people who eat sunflower seeds. but pigs could be different.
Pigs might be different.
There is a movement of parents that believe Peppa Pig is marketing vegetarianism to children to get them off eating meat because they don't want to eat Peppa Pig.
I mean,
my sister-in-law said something. Went to her farm last year and she saw some piglets and she said, "You know what? They're the only animal that actually looks like the meat you get from it. I look at those and I just want a bacon sandwich."
Yeah. I don't know.
And you know what? When she said that, all I could see was a nice packet of sausages
rolling around in the mud, huh?
Yeah.
Again, Craggle with as with a couple of the other ones. This is not for us. First off, and second off, I don't see a single piece or build technique or any
build
kind of
techniques into
nostalgia.
this. A 4+ set.
But I mean, I know people complain about stickers, but look at all these printed pieces. You know, we should celebrate this set.
Yeah.
No, because this is where the budgets go in. Lego is making out they can't afford to print pieces, which is going to tie into the next set, by the way. And then they do it on all the 4+, what used to be juniors. And it's like, come on, we pay triple figures for a collector's set, and you give us a crappy sticker sheet. Someone buys this vegan monstrosity, and they get all printed pieces. Although, as Joe pointed out, they should have both eyes on the same side of their face. Someone has not watched the cartoon. 76271 Batman the Animated Series Gotham City. Now, if memory serves, you were both actually quite full on in wanting to marry this set. Some of you wanted to take it on a all expenses, all inclusive vacation. I think Joe wanted to basically, spend a lot of alone time with this set. So tell me more.
I would relearn the definition of making love with this set. Now,
relearn? Because according to your wife, I think you need to learn.
We said we weren't going to talk about the dungeon.
I'm sorry.
Despite what I said earlier, that I have a high bar for comic book stuff. Like, I'm not into superheroes
low tolerance.
At all.
That's what
however, yeah, low tolerance. Okay, a high bar, a low tolerance. This is the one property. This is the one thing that I actually have lots of fond memories of, and I actually really enjoyed as a kid. I really enjoyed it. I think this is a really well-made, very kind of unique Lego set.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd build this. I might end up giving it to my brother-in-law or someone who would, have like a really profound, oh no, Emily's going to kill me. Emily also liked this. No, I wouldn't give it to my brother-in-law.
Talking about giving away sets, I know someone who would take one.
Yeah. Spacetime, I think, you were the one who wanted to take this on a luxurious honeymoon, right?
Spacetime, we no longer live 200 miles apart. We are now 2,500 miles apart.
Joe is technically closer to me, I think, than you now.
No.
I know. I'm joking.
It's pretty darn close.
To be clear, I have slept on Spacetime's couch when I came up to Boise to visit.
Is that when you fell out and you kicked you out of bed?
I knew that was coming. And
I slept in your basement twice.
That's
oh my
true.
God! We've heard about the dungeon.
Yeah. No, we had to put it all away.
So Spacetime, what are your thoughts on this then?
I am going to buy every single set associated with the animated series. I've decided that there better be more this year.
Nice.
Lot of minifigure teases with all the villains scattered throughout the city, and I'm like, I want them all.
Yeah, I mean, you might have seen on my YouTube channel, I recently did a review of a custom Batman animated series Batman figure, which I had pre-ordered on from last year. I absolutely don't regret that because it is phenomenal. And looking at the pictures of this, it's better than the official figure. That being said, I'm of two minds on this set, which is really shocking because for me, Batman the Animated Series is the pinnacle. It is the greatest single superhero cartoon ever made, and it's arguably one of the best superhero formats. I'm going to say I'm trying to think of the term that encompasses both live action and animation.
Medium.
Yeah, and I do like this set. Even though I'm not really a fan of the art style, this is kind of like an extension of the art
Mhm.
style. What puts me off with this is the price. Obviously,
Oh,
it is a big
yeah.
set. It's the sheer amount of stickers, and every cool Easter egg on this that
Oh.
I've seen teased has come with like a double-edged sword to my heart because they're stickers.
Oh,
There
okay.
are 2 printed pieces in this set.
Okay.
I mean, you got 3 police pimps
Mhm.
here, and they couldn't print that. That's a sticker each time on a curved piece as well, which is always a nightmare to apply.
That is always a nightmare.
And I love the little, I think it's a 2x2 tile of Batman standing like he does in the opening sequence, the iconic
Oh, that
opening
one's printed.
sequence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because to me that was a killer. That of all things was a sticker, but it seems all the other little teasers of the little, little minifigure characters and stuff are all stickers. All the
Huh.
signs are stickers. And I'm not being funny. With a set like this is a premium level set. This is a set that's definitely for us, for collectors. This isn't for children. We should get printed pieces.
Yeah.
Right then, so as I mentioned before, we are all Lego custom creators in some way. And I do custom minifigures. I have designed some sets, which the person who should not be named on this stream did instructions for. Joe, you've done instructions and kits. Spacetime, I think you've done instructions and kits, but for a different type of set. I think you've done architecture and
Yeah.
brickheads
Yeah.
primarily. So the topic of this one is quit stealing our ideas and. Spacetime, I believe that you had a story where your ideas were lifted by someone who contacted you first of all before you actually started
Yeah.
making your own instructions.
Yeah, this is last December when I was posting the Deep Space Nine brickheads. Yeah, I was getting messages for instructions and everything, and it's just like I was just politely saying no because I haven't actually physically built them yet, and I didn't want to put instructions out until I built them. And this was also back when I was doing the wrong stud area for the brickhead bodies. If you remember, Craggle was doing the 3x4 for the bodies instead of 4x4.
Oh,
so they were like really slim, and the head was popping out with a big chin.
They were size 0 brickheads.
Yeah. As I occasionally do sometimes, I double check and see if someone's made something that I want to make before I actually go and do it.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes it's a curse. Sometimes it's a blessing, and other times it's a curse because it's like, I don't want to copy elements or anything.
Yeah, I purposely don't do that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's I've definitely changed that. But anyway, I typed in Deep Space Nine brickheads, and I started to see essentially my thumbnails on Rebrickable.
Oh.
Ooh.
And they weren't exact because they didn't have instructions, so they rebuilt them in studio from the the building animations I do on Instagram. So they must have paused it like 1,000 times.
Oh.
But they corrected my mistake of the 3x4 and changed it to the 4x4 body. So technically they've changed it.
But
still, that's shady.
And so I went to go and report them. And here you have to be a Rebrickable user to report someone. So I signed up for Rebrickable solely to report them. And basically went to like almost every idea on their page and just reported it and submitted a link to my original Instagram post from the week prior. Because these were all published in like the same day. And in under an hour, the admin team at Rebrickable not only took down his postings, but deleted his account.
Wow.
And if I remember correctly, this was someone who had previously contacted you about
I
instructions
believe
for
it
them
was
as well,
them,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah, they took me down so quick when I tried posting those, Peter. I just
and people can take screenshots of your renders and then just do a puppet warp or perspective warp and
yeah, I've had that. I had a video which is done actually. This is the killer. It's done better than any of my custom Ghostbusters stuff.
Oh no.
Views wise, and it is literally someone who has gone on to my website on my videos, screenshotted the renders, printed them off on a normal home printer on paper, and just glued them to the front of
No.
minifigures, and is telling other people to do the same. And it's in the hundreds of thousands of views. My view, I think I got 58k. I think on one of my videos, he's got like 198k on his video.
I remember that one.
I try to be a little bit more tactical now with my renders, where I have the minifigure slightly at one side or have their arms slightly raised, so they can still do it, but they have to try and be a bit more creative, with filling in the gaps.
And if they have to be that creative, they might as well just make their own.
Exactly.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, with my stuff, I'll go back to it again later, because I think most of my stuff has been individual stealing my work. But Joe, you actually had a company rip off your design, right?
Yeah, a couple of my designs. Yeah. So right here is my 1 to 75 scale Skylab that I spent so long on this because I don't know. I've been told I shouldn't say the word a spirit animal, but Skylab is kind of like an inspiration to me of like, no matter what happens, you should keep moving forward. It's kind of like really personal to me. I made this model. Well, turns out someone bought my instructions, and I know they bought my instructions because it was a slightly different version than the kit version. They bought my instructions and then completely reproduced it to the point where they even took the pictures off of my Etsy site, which included my kitchen counter.
Oh my word!
Where I had taken pictures of the model, and they were just everything. They took everything and completely reproduced it.
And they used knockoff bricks, right? It wasn't
knockoff
Lego
bricks.
Yeah.
Whereas each one of those kits, I boxed them individually using like actual Lego. They were expensive, honestly.
I can't believe that they didn't even I can't believe they didn't even bother to reverse engineer your instructions for their own branded bricks. What they just did is put a page at the front and just said, this brick is actually this brick,
They were just color changes. Same bricks,
so
color
low
changes.
effort.
No, such low effort. So here we are just kind of telling these stories and complaining about it. But it's like, we kind of live in this little... I don't know, this like vacuum in between what Lego allows us to do and like copyright law.
This is the thing. We are already in a very gray area where we're doing, creations that are inspired, is the word I choose to use, inspired by popular characters. And in your case, I guess, what's the right word? I don't know. Vehicles. We're in that gray area where we're doing stuff that is inspired by intellectual property that we don't own, I guess is probably the best way of saying it, and we're holding our hands up, we're saying this isn't official, we are fans, this is something that we've created. And in my case, and I think in Spacetime and probably yours as well, we've done it for ourselves. People have said, hey, can we have this as well? So we've gone, okay, we'll produce it as best we can, in terms of making it available for other fans. Obviously, we're trying to cover our costs at the very least, maybe make a little bit of money on that for our time. And someone steals that, and it hurts us because we are fans. We put not just our time and our effort, we put our heart and soul into these creations, and someone else steals it. But because we're in that horrible, murky area, we have very little protection. Like, I'm glad that Rebrickable was able to take that down for you, Spacetime. I've not had any luck with YouTube taking stuff down, people stealing my ideas.
0 responses when I would email people about like, hey, this is my design. Anyway.
Do you know the Scooby-Doo CMF video that me and Spacetime did? The video on that, I designed all the graphics. So, like, we had Scooby-Doo style bats go past the screen as a transition.
Okay.
Now, there was no clear animation of that, so I literally went and got the original episode and I rotoscoped over it so I could use bats as a transition. I was very proud of that, and I had one with a magnifying glass with like a Scooby-Doo style question mark on it that kind of went over the screen and then revealed something. someone lifted those elements off my video and used them not just in one of their videos, in 12 of their videos. They did 12 Lego CMFs, but they also completely ripped off our designs. Spacetime did a custom figure of like this, it was a parrot in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And you used the base of the TweePie model, but then you added your own stuff to it, and made this really cool rendition of it.
Yeah.
Now, all their CMF wasn't digital renders; it was like hand drawn or digitally drawn line art, with basic color on there. But it was a complete rip off of Spacetime's figure. It was unbelievable how blatant it was.
So, yeah.
And they and like on their thumbnails, their format was using all my magnifying glass, my things. I even did a background where I had like the dog tag from Scooby Doo, and I had done it, like all different sizes, scattered around randomly, and done it color things so that it moved. So there's a little bit of animation in the background whilst I was talking about these pictures of the figures. They took the split second of that, where it was just a clean version of that backdrop in between the two different designs. And they were using that in all their thumbnails.
It is so much work to plagiarize. It's interesting. I didn't think about it until now, but about a month ago, I watched this 4-hour-long YouTube video on plagiarism.
Okay.
And it is incredibly insightful. And basically, the video starts off with, if you have a good idea on YouTube, you're not the first, or it's not yours for long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I fully appreciate that different people could come out with the same ideas or very similar ideas, separately to each other. And I think, I remember when we did the Lego Stargate, Sam months later came across a design that was similar to ours that had been up longer than our one, and he was worried this person would think he ripped him off. Well, I was like, well, you can tell it's different enough. Yes, they've done the same technique for the chevrons, but we're using a Lego system, so there's only so many ways that you can recreate that shape with the existing pieces.
I was going to say that is a lot of times there's just sometimes there's no other way to reproduce or to do a specific thing. If you're like making a model of something, for instance, LUT back here, there, right there.
I apologize, Spacetime. He always does this, plugging everything he can.
I'm not the only person who's designed one of these. Now, my niche is it's neurotically detailed, and like the voices wouldn't let me stop until it was as detailed as possible. It's also probably one of the more expensive ones you'll put together. But like, I'm part of this community where there are several versions of this, and it's like, oh, if you want the cheapest one, make this one. If you want, the medium one, make this one. If your ears bleed when you don't make the most detailed one, then you need to go with Skylab Bricks one. Unfortunately, the very, very original was stolen, and Valerie Roche, she was the one who also designed the Saturn V set, or was part of the original. And if you see those cheap LUT kits out there, they are directly stolen from her design. And I believe someone tried to steal my design, but thankfully it is too complex. No, we're not putting in the effort to steal that.
Yeah.
So I have a few tips if you want to. I have some tips for creators out there who are looking to protect their work. So one thing you can do is, here's a funny one, put a common Easter egg in yours. Like I always put Princess Unikitty somewhere in my giant builds, because if I see that in someone else's build, I go, hey, that's mine. Second thing you can do is, if you are making instructions, export those PDFs. Use a simple watermark program. You can find them online. Put a watermark down the middle of your page. It's ugly as hell, but it does prevent other people from taking that. You can also lock your PDFs. Lock it and put a password on it so that no one can edit it. That's a very simple thing. Those are just a few things you can do. Really, if someone really wants to steal your stuff, if they're like, gotta have Skylab Bricks Skylab, they're going to buy what you have and they're going to recreate it. And unless you want to submit it to, Lego Ideas, they'll go to bat for you, but that also means they own your design. So
Yeah, well, basically, you can't do anything with it. I think for 3 years after
Yep.
you submitted it or
Yep.
something, and that's if it doesn't get picked. If it gets picked, then
you can never do anything with it. Yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's just sometimes you'll have people ask you, "Hey, can I have a free copy of your plans?" This happens so many times. "Hey, can I have a free copy of your plans?" It's
Oh,
because they can't even spend money to get the thing that they want to steal from you.
do not begin with that. I mean, probably not the same reason, but I've had people messaging me. I had a guy message me. He was like, "Hey, I'm 14 years old, but I love all your stuff.
Ah.
I'm a big fan. I've watched every one of your videos. Would you mind sending me a complete set of your Doctor How minifigures?
Oh.
I don't have any money, but I can tell all my friends and get them to buy them, and I can also reward you with publicity through my social media pages." And he had like 2 subscribers on YouTube. It was like, oh.
The influencer mindset.
I'm naturally a really nice person. I like being nice online. Go fuck yourself, Craggle.
That's the funniest thing you've ever said.
Oh, go die. I like
I mean, going off your points, I'm not even going to let you finish. Going off your points about protecting yourself, that is really good tips for people doing, I guess, Lego mocks and stuff that they want to do. For me, as a custom minifigure, I have even less protection, really, Like I've mentioned before, when I do the digital renders, I try to put the minifigure slightly on one side, with the arms slightly covering the torso, so that the full image isn't there. But I also want to give my potential customers the best look at what it is they're going to be buying or pre-ordering. So it is a kind of toss up sometimes. And that video was an absolute piss take. And the one I said about the guy printing off the screenshots and sticking them with like Pritt stick onto his as many figures. 198k, I think it was last time I looked at in views. More than any of my Ghostbusters Afterlife custom set videos combined. That was a killer, and he's monetized as well, so he was getting money off those at the video as well. He had like 1,021 subscribers, so he was just there.
The other protection is like being involved in the community. You might think that's a joke, but it's also like I've had so many people defend me, like, hey, dude, that is a really cool design. That looks remarkably like Joe from Skylab Bricks. It looks really close to his design. Are you sure you want to? Just being buddies with the community and just engaging, which is hard for me because
you're a complete
I'm not
asshole.
the only one here who has anxiety. Yes, and I'm naturally an asshole. Oh my god.
No, I get it. Like, I've kind of not deliberately, but I have taken a step back from the community from like where I was, say, 3-4 years ago.
Too.
But I am trying to develop my own community, I guess, particularly with my Discord, and I've had people come in there who have kind of like asked, or probably better word is demanded, decal designs so they can print them off and stuff. And I've had people defend me, fans, followers defend me. And you know what? That is a good feeling when you feel like someone else has got your back. There's nothing in it for them, but they've still defended.
We just had one of those this week.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And
some of the screenshots you send me of your Discord, I'm like, I'm not wading into that shark infested pool. There's Welsh people in there.
I think I'm the only Welsh person in there, to be honest with you. Most of it is American, to be honest with you. It's actually more active in the American time zones. That's why I made Spacetime a mod, so that he can help out with that.
Yeah, I forget what I was doing. I was driving and I was just getting alerts like crazy, and I finally just stopped and I saw what was going on. I'm like, well, this is over. And it's first time I kicked someone. I'm like, wow, the power.
Yeah, I feel a little bit bad because someone asked if he was kicked, and because I didn't see that you had posted that you would ban someone. I was like, no, he left of his own fruition. Like, so I'm just a liar now. But it happened.
Yeah.
But like with my custom minifigures, one thing as well you mentioned about not looking to see if someone else has done it originally, because I came from a place of reviewing custom minifigures from a few different places, from different companies. From ones that I had bought, ones that had been sent for free, others I had sponsored videos. I was originally trying my best not to make anything that they had, or if I was doing like the same character, to do a different variant, a different version, like them in a different costume and stuff.
Right.
And it got impossible. And I realized as well that it was a completely one-sided, that they weren't checking to see what I was doing. I also realized that some of them stopped sending me stuff now because I was now a competitor. So do you know what? Now I just do my own thing, and I get messages of people who obviously collect my minifigs, but also collect minifigs based on the same, or inspired by the same stuff from another company. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but I don't really want to know about that. It doesn't interest me what they're doing,
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing, Occasional things that cross over that I'm a fan of. Like I've literally just bought a Ghostbusters custom minifigure from another company because I love it. And it's a character that I was thinking about doing. I won't now, but not because they've done it, but because I really like their design and I don't think I can improve on it.
So with my Battle of Endor thing, I built Home One. It was a design by someone else, Jorstead Designs. I've had a bunch of people ask me, "Hey, have you done your own?" I'm like, "No, because Jorstead Designs has a really nice one, and I like it, and I can't improve on it, so I won't." The other thing I love seeing, I love finding new build techniques, so I have to be really careful. I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna take that entire section of that thing." No.
One of my proudest moments, actually, kind of a little bit related to what you just said, is I did a build technique. I came up with it. I think it was on air on one of Spacetime's streams when I was building. I think it was the dirt farm. I think I was doing that on studio whilst we were on one of our streams with Sam years ago now, back when 2021 or something. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I sent it over to Sam. And when Sam was doing the instructions for it, he was like, mate, you are a genius. A set come out like a year and a half later, an official set, and it had the same build technique. And I was like,
they were watching my stream.
Yeah, maybe, But I wasn't thinking they'd copy me. I just thought, great minds think alike. But I was quite happy that I, this mediocre custom designer, had come up with the same technique that someone who paid to design Lego sets came up with,
Are you able to explain it easily? What elements it were?
Oh, do you know what? I can't remember. It was something to do with the bay window on the dirt farm.
Okay.
Sam might remember better, but yeah.
Sam says, me call you a genius. I don't remember that.
Yeah, he is lurking in the chat, I should say. I should say, because we're going to wrap things up, he's not actually fired. He's just he's been very busy of late, and we kind of got to the point where we wanted to do a stream. We're like, well, Sam, I know you're busy. We're gonna politely just go on without you.
Wait,
and
you mean the salary and benefits I was promised isn't real?
Oh, we lied to you. We straight up lied to you. Yeah.
Yeah, we just need someone to cover for him.
In fact, we need help paying for StreamYard. No. Cool. What do I get for showing up? 1/3 of this week's StreamYard.
Bill.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh my god, he's turned his camera off.
He's gone. We lost another one, Craggle.
Oh man. I will say though, thank you so much, Spacetime, for joining us this week. It's been an absolute blast. I hope we haven't traumatized you too much.
No, I think it's been pretty tame. So
Oh, I feel a bit. That's
an insult.
Wow. Okay, I know. I was being polite, and he's just gone and freaking called us tame. Like, wow. Okay, well, Spacetime won't be back.
No, I meant that as a compliment. You haven't offended me, so.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
me and Joe both took that as an insult. That we haven't.
Craig, wait a second. No, I'm never going to go back to Boise, Idaho. I don't care if I offend Space. Sorry, are we not giving away location, Spacetime?
Well, too late for that. No,
okay.
No. Every time I post on Instagram, I tag at Boise, Idaho, just trying to get that
Yeah,
traction. But
yeah.
I mean, who else would do a Lego set based on Boise than someone who actually lived there? I don't think anyone is sitting in their apartment in Manhattan going, "We need a Lego set of
well,
Boise."
I'll tell you what, the great Colin Baker is coming here next weekend,
Who?
and I
I mean, you're not wrong, Joe. He literally is Doctor Who.
Oh, what?
we got
one of
Gem
them.
State Comic Con next weekend.
Okay.
Sean Astin and Colin Baker
Who?
are Samwise. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Okay.
we normally take this time to plug our pluggables. Give the floor to our guest first of all. So, Spacetime, now is your moment.
Yeah, check out Instagram, Spacetime Brick Studio. I'm currently publishing posts celebrating X-Men 97, which is another animated show that's dear to my childhood and just adult personality. I've decided for the meantime that every brickhead that I post, I'm going to make the instructions available on my website for free. So definitely take advantage of that.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. For
Okay.
free?
Yeah.
You were just asking to be plagiarized.
You know, I just want to share it with as many people as I can right now, and we'll see how this works
Awesome.
out. So, yeah.
Joe, man,
Hey,
how can we plug our stuff that we charge for
No,
now
no,
that
seriously.
Spacetime's just gone in with the charity
Jeez,
angle?
man,
Like, you
I
know.
don't know. You can say hi to me for free. I'm just kidding.
Oh, he charges even for casual greetings.
Anything more than hi, and it's per minute. No, you can come check out my stuff on Etsy under Skylab Bricks. I'm slowly moving some stuff over to Rebrickable. Come follow me on Instagram under Skylab Bricks. I tend to post a lot of weird things and
I'm Cut the Craggle. You can find me at Cut the Craggle on most social media. Facebook, Instagram is the one that I am primarily active on at the moment. I am trying to get the YouTube content a little bit more consistent and more frequent than it has been. The website where my minifigures, my little plastic people are for sale, is in the description. But also, I don't want to just plug myself. We are now on our own channel for this podcast, for Unsorted. So if you're on here, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Unsorted. If you're listening to this where all good podcasts are available and you have a YouTube account, we would also love it if you could come over and subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy. I would like to thank my glorious panel, Joe of Skylab Bricks, Spacetime Brick Studio, who for some reason is brandishing a paintbrush at me. I do not know her.
paintbrush. Okay, all right.
I'm not even going to get into it now.
Okay.
That's something for another day. And we'll be back. We don't know when exactly, but it will be sometime. So
Yeah.
make sure you got notifications on. We might have Sam back.
Yeah.
We might not. We might have another guest back. We might not.
Yeah.
We might have Spacetime back. We might not.
not.
That's how we roll. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we just do a podcast and no one's here. You just
Yeah.
watch the screen for an hour. Who knows? Until then, I hope you're all happy, safe, and healthy.
Yep.
And we still don't really have a catchphrase. Bye.
I stay fresh, cheese bags.